The COVID-19 pandemic seems to be sparking a trend when it comes to people acting on impulse. Troy Washington is working for you to explain there is a spike in trauma cases at some emergency rooms to back up that claim. The urgent warning for you tonight.
We had a record June with over 400 trauma which is the most we've had in 5 years.
Trauma means crash injuries. Serious falls are traumatic brain injuries stemming from serious accidents. And what's different these days is the global crisis, putting people in a space they've never been in before. Doctors say numbers started to spike this summer, and it looks like people are just desperate to get out and get going.
That's significant because patients are coming in severely injured. And I think some of that is people are out and about and being outside much more. And so a lot of my recommendations are to, in addition to taking care of your health, also try and avoid risky behaviors.
It's not just the physical trauma that plays a role, it's also the mental trauma of it all. Therapeutic Rose practice owner Darian Rose explains how we arrived to this place in the first place.
When you take away a privilege of freedom of going out and doing things, and you therefore have to replace it. So people are replacing it by doing all these crazy things.
According to him, it's all mental before it becomes physical and just a way to cope through the pandemic.
It's an unseen enemy. And because we can't see it, we don't know how to fight it. And it's the same thing that goes on with trauma, PTSD. I'm not surprised to see a spike in it at all.
He says everyone has their vices and people typically have an outlet, but with all the restrictions, he believes people are being pushed to react impulsively.
Wear your seatbelts when you're driving, wear your bike helmets when you're riding bikes, wear your helmets when motorcycles.
She insists that just taking some extra steps and moments to reflect on being more cautious during these times can make all the difference. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
And the therapist we spoke with describes it as a form of acting out. He explains it could be caused from exhaustion linked to surviving a pandemic.